Welcome back, everybody. Let's finish up that shifter. We have our mock-up props ready to go. We're going to use them to help determine how close the things that we have now are to the things that once were. First up is the cover for the Amplitorque compartment. This is another very unique 10X piece that has quite a few stories it could tell. This is not the time for those, though. We'll get to them eventually. We need the top cover put in place. Just a couple bolts will do it. Next, the prototype dash, which attaches to that heavy torque amp cover. We also need to guide this vertical throttle shaft into the hole down at the bottom. There we are. This is one of the neater pieces of the whole tractor. When you look at the backside, you can see we've got a weld line right there and right there. Another pair there and there. Another pair right there, right there. So we've got one piece, 2, 3, 4, 5. The shell is 6, and we've got a weld line right there, so the hour meter bump out. This ring is 7. The face of that ring is 8. You can see some more grind lines. So they finished the outside to make it look like one piece, but when you can see on the back where they didn't bother grinding any of the welds out, they put a lot of work into making that. We'll get into this more later, but this is probably my favorite piece of the whole tractor. This is the starter lever. You can see in the picture a rod runs from that to the contact switch on the starter. That's just a novelty to me. Vroom. Neat stuff on there. Fuel tank support. And last piece, the shift lever. Okay, we've got enough of the original tractor mocked up now to get a pretty good idea how close this archive photo matches to that shifter and the fuel tank and the hood line, and we see if we can get decent enough vantage point on it. I'd say we're pretty close about where we are right now. Maybe this way a little bit. No, I kind of right there. I kind of like that. So what we're looking at is alignment of shifter knob to, say, the hood line of the tractor, okay? So we can see where the lower hood line comes through. On the fuel tank, we can see that witness mark with the fading of the paint. That was the old hood line right there, so we know what that mark is. And we can see from this vantage point, the top of that shift knob is pretty even with the bottom edge of that hood. So one more small visual aid. That should make that hood line a little bit more visible. Returning to our vantage, don't walk into the trash can, dude. Returning to our vantage point. Boy, you follow the bottom edge of that hood line off the end of my finger, carry it straight back. There's that shifter knob. We can see it better when we get that white sheet back behind it, but yeah, boom, right there. So compare that once more to the photo. Bottom edge of the hood line, carry it straight back. Lines in at the top of that shifter knob. Just one more. If we take the bottom edge of that photo, line it with the hood line, there's that shifter knob. It's got a little bit of layover to it because of that worn bottom pivot. It probably should be up a little bit, probably more like that. but while I was prepared to measure this, even scale it to the photo if necessary, referencing these two views, I'm saying that's right on. So yeah, I know exactly what I need to do. I'll just pattern the new one off of this old one. Same bend, same length. That ended up being pretty straightforward, really. Pop, uncontrolled burnout. That's where I want it. Looking good so far. Now we reference it once again. So let's get lined in. All right, looking at the edge of the fuel tank versus the dash back behind. Dash inset just a little bit, just like we are here. Follow the bottom of that hood line. Yep, intersects right with the top of the shifter and the angle at which it sticks out. I think we nailed it. I'm happy with it. That's definitely much better than that old welded one. So looks good where it comes out of the gate. Good clearance on everything. That's with the plunger all the way in the housing. It can't go in any further. Good standoff away from the hour meter ring. So now we can take all this stuff back off. We can pin that onto the plunger rod, hook the gate to the bottom, see if this actually works. Okay, what I'm going to do is put just a little bit of gear oil on things, just enough that we're not dry metal on metal. You know, you want a little bit of a glide going on, so I also don't want so much that it's going to start running all over things either. Actuator in gate, and I just realized something. So, you know, the prototype has these two roll pins on the inside of the gate, and the production one has the pins on the outside. I just realized why they did that with those pins on the inside of the gate. That's why they needed to cut here and here away from the top of that actuator, otherwise it may interfere with them. Just dawned on me. And we're just going to temporarily hold everything together with a 1/4 inch bolt and a nut, because in case I need to take this back apart, I don't feel like dealing with a roll pin. Okay, we've got that in place down there. Next, I'm going to take full advantage of the holes that are still torched on each side of this. We're going to just throw a 5/16 bolt through the shift lever. Again, we're not going to mess with a roll pin for now because this is just to see if all of this works. Chances that we'll be taking this back apart again are high. Okay, that's what it needs to do. Okay, real quick, here is the plan. I'm going to test how the actuator engages with all of the forks. Gasket is in place because I want the actuator and the gate to be in the exact position they will be in once the cover is permanently installed. That gasket's part of the stack-up height, so it is present. The detent balls are not, though, because I want to be able to move everything in here without the added resistance of those. I can just really get a good feel for how everything is moving. So we're all neutral out. Let's find where we want to be. There it is. All right, we've got enough bolts started and tightened down that we know we're positioned properly. Neutral sweep is good. Neutral spin is good. Watch the drive pinion down here. I'll just start all the way over here next to me. This will be reverse. Okay, we have our reverse spin. Back to neutral. Sometimes neutral can be a little bit difficult to find without detents in there, but next one is going to be fourth. Again, watch the pinion. All right, good fourth, good neutral spin. Next is 2-3. Here's the big show. This is the new fork we made and the new rail. Let's try 2 first. Good spin on 2. Good spin on 3. We're finding neutral again without detents, like I said. It's kind of hard. Okay, there's our neutral. Now we got 1 and 5. We've kind of got a 1. I see the 2-3 rail is moving. That's one advantage. I can look in the back of the transmission case here and see all the shift rails. I see that 2-3 moves. I think we've got first gear, but I don't like it. Let's try for fifth. I'm blocked out. I can't hit fifth. Yeah, we're grabbing the top of the 1-5 fork and the top of the 2-3. I think we're just, I might have made that 2-3 a little bit fat. I left it wide. Okay, good neutral spin. I left that 2-3 wide because that old one looked pretty thin. I think I know what my problem is. All right, in a nutshell, old 2-3 fork, new 2-3 fork. When I made the new one, I intentionally left the top portion a lot wider than the old one because this looked awfully skinny and there's enough wear that it's kind of tough to know where those corners used to be. And what I believe is happening, being that we are wider now in the 2-3, when it is positioned in here next to the lug for the 1 and 5, because this actuator here on the prototype version is so wide, so much wider than the production. I believe that when I am grabbing onto the 1.5, we're also dragging this edge of the 2.3, and that's why we're getting the bind, because we're trying to slide two shafts at the same time. So this is a no harm, no foul redo, because this was on my radar. I'd made a mental note of it. We were going to try it nice and wide and then trim it down as needed. So we'll just have to, make this look more like that. All right, we've made some more room right there. Let's put the top back on, see if it has improved. Okay, everybody, transmission top back on. I did the first retest of it, and everything seemed to go fine. So we are fully detented up right now. The balls, the springs, they're all in. So this is the real deal. This is for all of the marbles. So we can watch all four rods through there. We can watch that drive pinion. Function check. Neutral good spin. Let's go straight to the 1 and 5. So that's going to be this rail here. There's first gear. Back to neutral. Let's try 5. Oh yeah. All right. We'll do the 2-3. Let's go for second. Yep. Third. Yep. Back to neutral. Let's do fourth. There's 4. Back to neutral. Let's do reverse. Reverse good. Back to neutral. I'm not going to lie, everybody. I'm liking this new shifter. We're a bit clunky loose, but I believe that's because we don't have that assist spring in here like the productions did. So, honestly, really good feel about it. So, that was a lot, but we finally have a shiftable gearbox. Okay, shifter cover back apart for the final phase. Patching those holes. And I've already got a near perfect stand-in piece of donor cast iron that is going to help me to close those up. And we are going to metal stitch these. We're not going to weld. We're not going to braze, because I'm not set up to do any of that here. On a 1-of-1 irreplaceable casting, I do know my limits, and I'm not going to try to push it doing any uncontrolled preheats, post heats, anything like that. At worst case scenario, if my metal stitch strategy fails, we still have a casting with 2 holes in it that have rough perimeters. Nothing really has changed beyond that point. We're not going to go backwards with it. We might as well try it. If that doesn't work, then we just send it to somebody that is equipped to do it. It's that simple. So that's next time. And our new parts here, I do like that new shifter. Control items, to me, just that tactile experience. I like things just being right. But really goes to show you, here's our discarded parts pile. That's what it took to get a transmission that shifts in X231. We've got a decent start on the new tools pile as well. But yeah, so much bad about this tractor, but we're making it good one little bit at a time. Okay, hopefully that's not an omen. All right, everybody, that's going to wrap it for this episode. The next one, I think, is going to be rather tedious, time-consuming work. I don't know if I'm going to be able to make much of an episode of it or not, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Thanks for watching, everybody. Hope to see you back again.